Johnson, and this is Focus on Liberia. Hit it! From Cape Mount to Cape Palmer, Mount Nimba to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Boakai, to educate, elevate, and promote. Yeah, focus on Liberia, for Liberia, Liberia, for Liberia, yeah. From Monday to Sunday, from Monday to Sunday, it's focus on Liberia. Talk about home affairs, in diaspora, current affairs, reliable information, history, talking about culture, politics, education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday to Sunday. Focus on.
Well, it's Friday and it's debate Friday. That's Friday night debate. It's every Friday. And the song that always introduces our debate program is this one. That's the talking drum from the cultural ambassador. Take a listen. Hello and welcome to Friday Night Debate on Focus on Liberia. My name is Dennis Jai and we are broadcasting from Atlanta, Georgia. Ever since we had the general and presidential elections were over, now what we having is a runoff election slated for November 14, 2023. During that runoff, in the general elections, we have President Weah and former Vice President Joseph Newman coming neck to neck in the general election. Now they're going to their second round. So the CPP has endorsed President Weah, but not everybody is on board. Tonight, I have gathered people that supported Mr. Cummings during the first round, or they were sympathizers or members of the ANC. Based on the direction the CPP has taken, some of them went along, some did not. I have three categories of ANC supporters and sympathizers that I've referred to tonight as the different shades of ANC support in the runoff elections. Number one, we have people that have endorsed, or now they were once supporting ANC in the first round, but now they are endorsing either Joseph Newman Boakai, President Weah, or they are staying neutral. This is a discussion that's been going around or in some quarters, but we want to make this formal tonight. We want to discuss it. So I have invited Glenda Jean Juniors, who was a Cummins sympathizer. Now she's supporting Joseph Newman Boakai in the Runoff. Welcome, Glenda.
Thanks, Dennis. It's good to be here.
Thank you. I also have Gabriel Tabito Carter, who was ANC member supporting Mr. Cummins. Now he's neutral. Welcome, Gabriel.
Thank you, Dennis. Look forward to a good discussion.
I also have Mr. Anthony Gay, a Cummins supporter or CPP partisan. He's now supporting President Weah. Welcome, Anthony.
Thank you.
I also have Mr. J. Victor Nabwe, who is a strong member, supporter of Mr. Cummins. Now he's neutral, and he got more explaining to do. Welcome, Victor.
Hey, thank you, Dennis. Good to be here.
Thank you. I also have Mr. Jimmy Ismo, who was torn between Mr. Gonglo and Mr. Cummins. But now he says, with the runoff, he's on board with President Weah. Welcome, Jimmy.
Glad to be here, Dennis. Very glad to be here.
Thank you. Let me introduce my co-host or co-moderator, Telvina Cole. Telvi, welcome to Friday Night Debate.
Thank you, Dennis, and thank you to all the followers. It's been a long time since I've been on the show, so I'm glad to be on.
Thank you. We want to welcome all our viewers from across the globe. This is Focus on Liberal Friday Night Debate. If it is Friday, it's Friday Night Debate. Let's get it started. I want us, for all of us, to start on common ground tonight. So my first question to you is, let's go around the room and just tell me who you support in the runoff. You know, I said it, but people want to hear from you. You don't have to tell us the reason why. We can do that later. So let's go around the horn, starting from Gabriel. And Gabriel, in the runoff, and what does this neutrality mean? Gabriel.
Sorry, what was the question?
What's your position in the second round? Who you support now?
Thank you. I think it's obvious. I'm staying neutral, and I have tons of reason for staying neutral. I don't know if you want me to get into them, but
we'll get into that later. But what does it mean to be neutral?
What it means to be neutral is that, let me just give you a quick example. It's like going into your fridge. You bought a basket of fruits. There were only two apples in our basket when you got there, and you realize the two apples that were there, they are rotten. Are you going to eat both? Are you going to take one and eat? You cannot eat both, right? Because they are rotten. You know, what you're going to do is just throw both away and go back to the grocery store and get another basket of apples. So that's what it means to be neutral.
Excellent example. Let me go to Mr. Anthony Gay. Anthony.
Yeah, Mr. Dennis, good analysis, but wrong scenario for our runoff from Mr. Carter. In this case, we are not dealing with fruits. We're dealing with two individuals. Either way, one of them have to rule the country.
We can throw all away, right?
We can't throw all away, right? And given the current circumstances now, the country has to have a leader. We can't just say, okay, let's throw both of them away, and then the country is left like that. That would be chaotic, right? So the reason why I'm on the other side now is because
we saw you on now. We'll get to the reason.
We are.
Good. Thank you.
I have evaluated it too. Both of them are the same. So it doesn't make sense to me to replace one bad person with another bad person. So let's just keep the other bad person and suck it up for the next 6 years.
Thank you. Mr. J. Victor Nambwe.
Thank you, Dennis. First of all, I'd like to clarify. I believe the last time I was on the show, I may have been introduced as a Weah supporter, and I did not clarify that. So I'd like to clarify that. I supported the CPP in the first round. I support Mr. Cummins' run for the presidency of Liberia because I believe he presents the best choice for our country. But at the current moment, I'm not necessarily opposed to the executive committee's decision to endorse the president because I believe this is strategic. But I have a lot of friends and I have done a lot of consultation. A number of my friends are supporting the former vice president as well as the current president. And I felt in order to effectively dialogue with my friends and make my input more impactful, it would do me more justice to remain neutral. And so, again, as I said, the endorsement of the executive committee of the CPP of the CDC is not necessarily based on their past performance, but the potential to do good going forward. And I think this is a good decision that they made.
And what does neutral mean to you?
What neutral means is I will be able now to talk to my friends who are supporting Boakai, if Boakai wins, to advise him on what is good governance for the country. If Weah wins, I should be able to talk to my friends who will be supporting Weah to advise him on what is good for the country. In that way, I'm able to consult with my friends on both sides of the aisle. Basically, that's what it means.
Is that very close to being Spider?
Yeah, I was just going to say that Spider story.
The rope you tie with.
Except that Spider wanted to eat from both sides. That is not my intention here.
There you go. Yeah.
So my intention here is that at the end of this process, Dennis, what I want is all hands on deck, all Liberians coming together to help our country. Our country is in deep trouble.
Thank you.
Really, where we are is way beyond just who wins this round of elections.
Thank you. Let me go to Glendy.
Yeah.
I like the spider story, Victor. I think that spider story is trying to.
Everything I said, I
think the spider story is to try to make sure he's safe with everybody. But it's good to be here. Originally, like I said, I've been in the opposition camp. Was a sympathizer of Cummings, never announced, never fully supported Cummings or Boakai. I am currently supporting Joe Boakai because for one reason only, we have President Weah records to go against him. We do not have Joseph Boakai record as a precedent. And what we have in front of us from Weah does not speak well about the things that's happening to the country. So I am 100% supporting Joe Boakai.
Thank you. Let me go to Jimmy.
Yes. So I knew both candidates, Boakai, not Boakai, I'm talking about Cummings and Gongo. I know them personally. Went to school with both of them, and I knew their character. And both of them, I knew would have presented Liberia with a solution. But now that they're both not in it, I'm going toward President Weah. I support that, and I will give my reasons why. But I see something fundamentally negative about the campaign that is being run on the other side, and I'll explain later.
Thank you. At this time, let me bring in my co-moderator, Telvina, to just give a brief statement about what we hear tonight and the whole idea. Telvina sometimes get very busy on the social media, and so she's I don't want to say into the fries, but she knows what's happening. Telvina.
No, you know, all of what I'm hearing tonight about the crossover and cross under, I'm blown away. And the justification or the basis for doing that. I mean, I have tons of questions that you guys can see I was writing. I'm hearing, you know, the potential to do better for Mr. Namwe. I mean, how can you determine that Mr. Weah has the potential to do better?
I think it is. Am I to answer that right away? Do you want me to answer that?
We'll come to
that.
that.
I'm just throwing things out there,
Got you.
So I mean, I'll save it for later, but I have tons of questions, Dennis. Let's go into the show. I got questions for everybody here based on everything I heard.
Thank you. So let's go around the room, because what I heard is you were supporting Cummings, most of you. So my first question that will go around the horn is, why did you support the ANC or the CPP in the presidential elections? What did the Cummings-Bromskin ticket represent to you? Let's start from that basis. And let me start with Mr. Carter.
Yeah, Dennis, thank you. And I think this is a great question that I think we've answered here repeatedly, but for the sake of this discussion, I will reiterate points that I've made here over and over and over. Um, I want to chime into the history of Liberia a little bit. So, starting from the 80s, we had what we call one of the most progressive country on the Tarbert. And for me, if you ask me, I would tell you he was probably
that's 70s on the turban.
right, Tarbert, right? That was the most progressive uh, president then, right? If you ask me, I would tell you without a doubt that he was the most intentional. He was the most, progressive president that we've had. He was intentional, and you could see that through his policy. And I don't have to say them here. You can go read up on them. And since then, we have, besides the war, we haven't had anybody that intentional in terms of advancing the country, not just for a select group of people, but a country that is supposed to be for everybody. And for me, so when Mr. Cummins actually represented that, we had hope in the former president, President Salif, but everybody was let down. We know what happened in our country, and the remnants are still there. So Mr. Cummins actually, based on his background, represented that intentionality, the hard work. I think he campaigned more than anybody, any of the candidates, right? But most importantly, what I want to talk about is his records, right? This is somebody who ran one of the biggest corporation in America, a conglomerate, made it all the way up to number 2. He ran it across Africa. He ran it across here in the U.S. and he did that in Europe, right? He came from there unscathed, marriage intact, hair intact. And if you work in corporate America, you'll know what I'm talking about, the level of stress. Coming from that, with all of that intact, that you got to give him kudos for that. In addition to that, he has the Coming Africa Foundation, which is a nonprofit that is doing considerable number of work in Liberia. He also have the tech education tech program in Liberia, right? And if you can go out of doing the pandemic, the amount of resources that he gave, even to schools in Nimba, even there's stories out there that he supported most of the senatorial races, right, out of his pocket. This is somebody who wanted democracy, not just for his own benefit, but for the advancements of the country, right? And I believe his presidency would have brought Liberia to the level, right, where we would have gotten on par to our neighbor in the region in terms of growth, economically, and competitively as a people in our region. So this is fundamentally that is just those are just some of the reasons why I supported him, right? And I believe he had that tenacity to advance our country forward for everybody. So I will leave it on there for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speakers, please, or be brief. Let's start. Let me welcome Mr. Benjamin Jonah, who is now is in between. So I want to get Ben quickly. It looks like he's on the roll. Ben is a Cummins supporter in the first round, but now he's supporting somebody. Benjamin, go ahead. Let's hear from you. Who you support now?
So now, because of first of all, I must first say I'm very sorry that I had to come in late. I'm still on the road trying to take care of some other issues, but I supported Mr. Cummins in the first round. The second round, we have 2 evil people, very bad. We have 2 really bad candidates. But when I look at these two persons, I see one is worse than the other, and that is the only reason why I have chosen Mr. Weah. Is Mr. Weah going to change anything in Liberia now in the few years to come? The answer is no. The problem is that having Mr. Weah there, we will be coming back in 2029 with more force to moving. Because look, Liberia have a history of parties having their lifespan is just 12 years. After 12 years, they are useless. The UP party had their 12 years. Had it not been for the CPP, these people would not have been around again. The same thing will happen to the CDC. So after we are cleared here, the CDC will run into the same problem that the UP was also running into. But if we give the UP life now, these people will have, the lives of Prince Johnson, all of these guys will all be around. And if Prince Johnson, who was just not too close to Weah, and the Weah government had hard time getting any aid, let alone having Mr.
So Ben, before we go deep into that, why did you support Mr. Cummings in the first round?
Oh, Mr. Cummings, about all of these people that are in the race, they don't even know why they even want to be why they even want to even lead that country. They have no idea. Mr. Cummings, because of his work ethic and the things that have seen him do in the past, you look at the man's history and when you look at what this man has achieved over the years, this is somebody that anybody will want to exemplify, want their kids to, be like. Come on, do you want your kids to be like Georgia or Mr. Boakai? Hell no. That's a simple answer. No, you don't want.
Thank you. Mr. Gay.
Yes, Mr. Jan. The reason why I supported Mr. Cummings, and I will still support Mr. Cummings if he so choose to run again in 2029. That is, if he decides to run, I will support him again. It's because, like other have said, Mr. Cummings has something about him that we don't see often within our Liberian society. Everybody should be the same. Everybody should fall in the same. But and that guy did it same thing last week. Why you checking on another person? That kind of mindset, right? But that man was like that. When you question another person, they'll say, but any other person did it 2 years ago. You don't find out with Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings is this person that said, listen, when we believe in ourselves and put in the work, we can get things done. Yes, I was blessed to have this opportunity, but I think other Liberians, if given this opportunity that I have, may do better than me. That's the kind of thing he has. Somebody else can do better than him if given a chance. We don't have that many people in our community that encourage people to want to work hard, earn things honestly. We have people to say, "Oh, my man, lead that team, man. You lead that team," kind of mindset. And for me, I was intrigued. The very first time I came across Mr. Cummings, my friend called me from Arizona and said, "Oh, my man, I just heard about one Liberian guy." That was 2002. Oh, I came to receive, this award from United Nations because I'm a refugee. I'm doing well in school, and he was the one that they gave this thing to present it to our school. And I heard in the city Alexander Cummings. He worked for Coca-Cola. I researched him, and I got to know about Cummings the very first time. But then that slipped off my mind again. And then come 2016. We heard about Tim Cummings. They started, talking about campaign business. I used to even criticize. I said, "Oh man, that man, he did a good job, as in the corporate world." But our Liberian politics would not allow his mindset to want to work in our system because they would always want to push him away. But he persisted. What really encouraged me more was in 2018, December 8th, when we had a retreat in Maryland. That was after the election we lost. And everybody started giving Mr. Cummings the prime. "Oh, you did well." He said, "No, we failed. We all failed, including me. I fail you. We never understood the terrain. We never understood the ground." He took full responsibility and told the team, "Listen, we cannot do this by ourselves. Let's join other parties. Let's enlarge in the tent." People fought against Mr. Cummings to join the CPP. But the CPP were tested twice, 2019 and 2020. And it yielded results. We saw the result. It ushered Dara Dillon. I always say Dara Dillon was our guinea pig in 2019. And then 2020, we got 6 senators on our ticket, even though one person after a week, I think Simeon Taylor did that, and returned to the CDC. But the CPP were tested and proven to be a formidable team. Was the only team that could defeat President Weah without any question. And once that happened, people started coming. Mr. Cummings' leadership as a chairman of CPP was not smooth, or everything was not bread and butter. He had challenges. One of the noticeable one, that was the situation with Tai Wengbe in Nima County, with Malaina Glongo Weah and Tai Wengbe issue. That was a serious test. Do you know how many ANC candidates that were denied the seat just so we accommodate other people? including that Taiwan situation in Nima County. But Mr. Cummings was doing it for the better good of the country. People say, oh, they may not take tough decisions. You don't know. He's not one of those people that will come out and brag. But Mr. Cummings have taken hit for many people within the party, from other party members, because he was taking decision in the best interest of CPP, but not decision that will benefit him personally.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me go to Gandhi.
I know it's not my time, but to Anthony's point, it's one of the reasons Glenn know our best friend Jeremiah Salonte. That's why he left the ANC, because the principal position that Mr. Cummings took, that our collaborators will be fielding a candidate in your district, and therefore the CPP will not support a candidate in that district. That was one of the reasons why the former ambassador to the DC left the ANC.
But what's his name? Anthony.
Yeah.
With all the flowery things you said about Mr. Cummings, and he's the best since bag of chips.
No.
Why will you? Obviously, he's the best. Why would you jump to Mr. Weah? Doesn't that sound like you're contradictory, even with your advocacy for good governance or good leadership and all of that? What's the disconnect there?
Fair question, on Telvi. Fair question. So let me say this, right? My analogy and my opinion, it may not be fact, but this is how I feel about this whole circumstance. First and foremost, I feel as though my almost 6 years kind of went down the drain. I was disappointed. I'm still disappointed. We don't know exactly what happened for us to get the number we got. I applaud Mr. Cummings for challenging that. But here's what I say to this effect. Mr. Boakai and President Weah are just as bad as anything else. Why? Just as you and Boakai have demonstrated that you cannot stand on your own and stand for the truth and be successful in Liberia by doing so. So he have to compromise his integrity. I personally asked Joseph Yuman Boakai a question at the Victory Harvest Church in Philadelphia, that if there's anything, Your Excellency, Mr. Joseph Yuman Boakai, that you will beat your chest about, will be your integrity, your character, your man of character. What say you for a man who goes on his daily basis of insulting individual that you have respect for, the likes of Edith Cummings, President Weah, and this person now is the face of your campaign? He cleverly ignored that question. It is on tape. I shared the tape with you guys after the show. And for me, I took a back at that.
So it's almost like a revenge thing, because then what they do to convince you?
I don't think it's a revenge. It is and I like your question, your line of questioning. I'm not taking it personal. I don't think it's a revenge. Yes, what I say to that on TV, that is, to whom much is given, much is expected. Joseph Yuman Boakai character, it is his campaign. His decency is his campaign. A man of integrity is his campaign.
So is Mr. Weah decent? Is Mr. Weah decent?
We're gonna keep going in this circle. I think there's
no. I try to.
Yeah, but I think isn't that the second part?
Hold on.
I'm trying to see the rationale. Because he's comparing the two to see the rationale for picking Mr. Weah. And then we can move on. I just try to see the rationale.
Both of them, I wish that we didn't have this option. I don't like either of them. But to me, it doesn't make any sense to replace any bad government with another bad government. So let's just suck it up for the next 6 years, because all Liberians will not die tomorrow. All Liberians will not evaporate off the face of Liberia tomorrow. We had 6 years. We had challenges. We will also have some challenges again. But guess what? I would rather stay where we are now than to change another government, bring in another set of people who will not move the country any further. Boakai will not even do anything different from we are, in my opinion.
I understand your point. I got it. Thank you.
Glennie, your turn.
May God help us all. It's all I can say. May God help
No
us
problem.
all. Let God help all of us. That me as a Liberian will be on this show tonight and seeing the plight of the Liberian people and say that it's okay for them to hang in there for 6 more years. That's, for me, it's almost like I don't even think I want to continue to be on the show tonight, because that statement alone just drives a lot of stuff up in me. Emotions. My grandmother died because she had asthma and couldn't get oxygen. They took her to Catholic hospital during Weah's time. They took her to Catholic hospital and they said she needed to go back home and come back in 4 hours for oxygen. My father died from a fall because he had a hemorrhage. My grandfather died because they diagnosed him with CHF and gave him the wrong medications. I had 3 families died within the same year. God help me if I sit on this show tonight and say, let Liberian continue in the plight, because I'm saying that a Boakai camp or a Boakai win is worse than a Weah win. But I will cool my emotions as a Liberian on this show tonight to hear what Gay said. I detest that statement. And I want to make it extremely clear as a Liberian to hear that it should continue to suffer, because he here thinks that it's better for them to remain in a Weah regime because he feels that Boakai is bad. I think there was another way that it could have been presented than to present it that way. So I'll say this. I was a sympathizer for Cummings because I felt that a lot of us, a lot of Liberians, a lot of people in Liberia, and we outside of Liberia, had the saying that Cummings was not known enough. And I also think it also comes with the presentation of Cummings to the Liberian people. And the idea where some people felt that Cummings was a better person or he had more opportunities. So because he was up there, so it was okay for him to run. And so that was why I was a sympathizer, because I felt that any Liberian, if they reached a place where they felt it was necessary to run or to become president or to serve in the Liberian government, I think it was their right. And that is why I was a sympathizer to Cummings. The reason I continue to say, the reason why I will not support George Weah, I've just listed a few of them. I am a direct person that have been affected by his presidency. I lost my father when I was not ready for him to die. But because of the poor health system in Liberia, he died from a fall. How can I sit here and say, okay, when we know what Weah government has done for 6 years, and Joe Boakai has not been in the government for 6 years, yeah, we get it. The two of them may not be the two of them, there may be no best in the two of them, or no one will be better than one another. But I'm going strictly off the Weah of George, or the record of George Weah, and I will not support George Weah no matter what.
Thank you, Glendy, and I'm very sorry for your loss. My question to you is, how is Mr. Boakai going to do better than that?
So we have nothing to go off. When Boakai was in the government, he was vice president to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. She was the president. So we have nothing to go off on his record as a presidential candidate. What we can see now is based on the fact of what Weah is doing. If it's a new group of people, we can hope that they will do better, that they will be chastised to the point where, seeing with the plight of the Liberian people now, they will want to do better. People will hold them accountable to do better. A lot of people have done a lot of things to the Weah government, and it has amounted to nothing. So how can I say now 6 more years is going to be different? I'm also saying that the fact that Joe Boakai and his camp can see now what a Weah government has done, we can only hope that they will do different and they will do better. I'm only going off the record of George Weah and hoping that based on what we see, that a different government from George Weah would be able to do something different.
Thank you. Victor.
Thank you, Dennis. And I join you also in expressing my sympathies to Glendy for her losses. It is very difficult. And I'm not going to explain or justify anything. It is just a loss and my deepest sympathy. I have to quickly push back on my brother Carter here. Even though this is not the discussion for tonight, but whenever I hear Turbo was the most progressive president, he did this and did that, I have to push back because a lot of us suffer under the regime that he represented. And Turbo was a talk and do nothing president. Let me break the news to you. Turbo was a all talk and do nothing. I'm sure we all remember, those of us here, no more Pusao after 1980. We all remember that. That's because he won the prize for the Farmer of the Year in the late 70s. I mean, I can name you several things that this president promised at Brimpool that he did not deliver. So he was not a progressive.
Yeah, it's not a topic, but I mean, if what's wrong with if he supplied the rice and we all eat it, right?
No, but there is.
But what
will you say about Lamco Inepa concession deal, though?
It is very deeper than that, Dennis. I tell you this.
I would like to speak to you after this show.
Because this is the root of the April 14 rice riot that people call, demonstration or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But that is the cause of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, we can have a different discussion on that.
But let's go back to tonight. Why did I support Ellis Cummings in the first round of the elections? Of all the candidates, Ellis Cummings has been very deliberate and very specific in what he would do as president. He broke it down into segments. He broke it down into the first 100 days. In the first 100 days, he was going to find $100 million and put it into the economy. He was going to create a loan scheme for small business people, something that we badly need in Liberia. He was going to set up the youth corps that will create gainful employment for our young people, many of whom we know here would like to work but cannot work because they can't find a job. He was going to create that. And those people were also going to help to clean up the country, beginning with Monrovia. We all go to Monrovia, we see the filth that is all over that city. He was also going to invest in tourism. So there are very specific things, other than others who, made slogans and other that. He was very deliberate in what he was going to do. And he laid out how it was going to get done. So this is why I felt he was the best president, and I still feel that way. It is unfortunate that we have a runoff that I believe has two of the undesirable candidates, but one of them, unfortunately, is going to be president after November 14th. One of them will be. So then our task is to find the lesser we believe of the two of them. And like I said, personally, as an individual, I'm going to remain neutral. But I don't have any qualms of the executive committee of CPP for endorsing the president because they put out their requirements for endorsement and the CDC acceded to their requirements. And they said, say that again.
So the Unity Party also accepted, according to Aloysius too.
No.
Who delivered the statement? He said both parties agree.
I beg to differ.
Yeah, that's what was presented to us, the statement we heard.
Okay, so if they did, it must have been after the fact. But my point being, this is the only party that agreed to collaborate with the CDC based on the agenda. And as I continue to say, yes, I don't think President Weah has been the best president that we've had. I don't think he has even come close. But we are saying there is a potential here to do better. I mean, I don't have to point you too far back. Look at the compact. I mean, even President Ellen Johnson, did not win 14 points out of the 20. The Admiral Connell, who was talking all over the place there when he was finance minister, they didn't come close to winning 14 points. Yeah. To me, and this is, and people are asking why is Weah getting 14 points, because I believe they're taking into consideration the totality of his presidency, all 5 years. But this is based on every fiscal year. So the immediate past year, if you and I go back to the immediate past year, you can't point out any major crisis or cases of corruption as they had been in the past 4. So it is based on that I believe the committee graded them out of the 14.
You're talking about the MCC?
MCC, yes.
Yeah,
okay, let's
the MCC, the bar is so low to pass at MCC. And we also know that this government is known for fraud, fabricating numbers and documentation. especially around election, which is an incentive for them to do all of that so they can look good. You don't want to use that as a yardstick to measure them.
Are you implying?
Wait. That
They didn't get that data from the government, though.
Are you implying?
But they presented the information to the international community. No. They asked for evidence. In order for them to produce that scorecard, they have to produce some data too. The government have to produce some data to them.
Right.
For them to make the analysis. They will not just make They will not make the analysis in thin air. Yes, they will do their own walkthroughs, they will do their own interviews, but the government has to give them reports, some data to make an informed decision. And we know from a timing perspective, given this election, there's no telling what this government can do. So we're not even use that as a basis. We know other things that they have failed in, including keeping the country safe.
Hold on, Mr. Number. If you want to bring that, then that leads to our second question, which I want all of you to respond to.
I think he should land with his thought. I think he should.
That's what I thought. It was as part of the second question.
I don't think so. I don't think so, because where you are going now is you are giving justification why Weah should be.
Yes.
So I want you to include that in the answer to this question. Right?
Okay.
Why do you take the position of supporting Weah? Because right now I'm not clear. Are you neutral or you are supporting Weah? It got to be one of the two.
I have made it very clear, and I will make it clearer if I haven't.
So if you are supporting Weah, tell me why you are taking the position of supporting Weah in the runoff. So let me start with you, so you can continue along that line.
Okay. So I am not supporting Weah, neither am I supporting Boakai.
So why are you neutral?
Why am I neutral?
Yeah,
I am neutral because, as I've indicated to you, I have a number of good friends who are supporting both sides. I want to be able to dialogue with them and continue my consultation while they push whichever side they push. I'll be honest with you, the choices we have, Dennis, are not the best of choices.
It's horrible choices, baby.
Yeah, I don't honestly feel comfortable supporting President Weah or individually. But however, the CPP Executive Committee has endorsed President Weah.
You are here as an individual, so forget CPP. Let's talk about you.
Right.
Okay. So I've said to you, as an individual, I don't support either of the two candidates. That's what I said. I've said that over and over.
Because both are bad.
Yes.
Thank you. Glendy, what do you say to that? And Glendy, why do you support that? Why do you take the position that you're taking right now?
Dennis, I think I've answered this question quite a few times. I'm for Boakai. Number one, I was in the opposition. I'm for Boakai because I am strictly looking at the record of Weah and where the country is today. And based on that, I cannot support George Weah on anything right now in the country. I like that that Victor is saving face and is trying to save his friendship, but this is about Liberia and the people of Liberia and not about being able to talk to his friends after elections.
And Glendy, my follow-up is this based on any ideology? You supported Mr. Cummings for all the good things, or you sympathize for all the good things, right? Is Mr. Cummings' position anywhere closer to that of Joseph Newman Boakai, or is it based on any ideology, or is it just because of what people refer to as lesser of two evils?
I think it's just I wouldn't want to compare Mr. Cummings with Joe Boakai or even George Weah, because Mr. Cummings was a newcomer. Mr. Cummings had not been in government before. He had not ran a country before, so I'm not going to put him against that. And I also it wouldn't be fair also to put Joe Boakai against President Weah, because Joe Boakai has also not been president before. Ideologies, they're all different. I don't know what ideologies President Weah has. He certainly hasn't shared them. So we don't know what direction. Even now, we don't know what he plans to do in the next 6 years. So how can I even go after what he's doing? Does he continue the same pro-poor agenda? The pro-poor agenda, they've abandoned it. So what's the ideology to look at? I don't compare any of them. I know that Mr. Cummings was a newcomer, and it was for me. It was looking like there would be hope. Somebody coming in new, based on his work history, based on his hard work. Those things you will look at, but I don't think they share the same ideologies. I think they're strictly two different people, Boakai and Cummings.
So I like to quickly push back.
Hold on, Victor.
She said something here. She said something.
Yeah. Before you push back, let me ask Glennie a question.
I think it's important to clarify this.
Hold on, Victor.
Hang on. So, Glennie, I know I keep hearing you saying that Mr. Boakai, you're going off Mr. Weah's record, which is fair. But then someone would argue that Mr. Boakai too has records, even though not as a president, he has records as vice president and also serving in, I think, one of, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think one of those ministries or something. So someone may use that as a yardstick to say, does he have good leadership capabilities? I mean, what do you say to that?
I mean, and that's a fair question. And that's a question too that I've looked into, but I'm strictly looking at it from the perspective of the fact that he has not been president of a country where he was in the lead, where he was the one that had the authority to run the country. He was vice president to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf had the gavel in her hand, not Joe Boakai. Now we're looking at
vice president role though.
Yeah, but but he wasn't the president.
But he ran things. He ran the agriculture ministry.
Which is true. The agriculture ministry cannot be compared. Which is true. He ran the group of 77. He ran the agriculture ministry. Those things cannot be compared. And if he did a lousy job, why did he continue to be vice president? Why did he win there? He and Ellen Johnson stayed there all that time. So I have chosen not to go against his record based on that. I have chosen to go against his record based on the fact that if he becomes president of Liberia, what will he do differently? And based on where we're coming from, I have some high expectation that things will be different, because with the Weah in 6 years, nothing has happened. Nothing has changed.
If I may.
No, hold on, Victor first before you.
Okay.
Thank you, Dennis. I just wanted to remind my sister Glennie here that government does not exist in a vacuum. Right? Government is about relationships, right? Friends, connectivity. That's what runs governments. So if I say I have friends with whom I'm consulting on both the Boakai and the Weah camps, basically these are the people. That group is going to run the country after October 14th. It's on that basis that I'm maintaining my relationship. But having said that, look, the former vice president. Let's look at his track record. Let's not go too far back, even though his people continue to tell us he's been in the government for 40 years. But when has this vice president ever demonstrated leadership? I mean, we can start with the CPP. Under his chairmanship, the CPP disintegrated.
Thank you.
Right? I believe it is on Alex's chairmanship that people at Darius Dillon got into the Senate. I stand to be corrected. Right? The former vice president.
But then the CPP with Darius Dillon was not only Alex Cummings. It was a joint venture. Other parties were also a part of CPP. So that cannot be something that is owned solely by Alex Cummings.
They all had
together. There were 4 parties together at the time when Darius Dillon won elections.
I was just pointing out.
Yeah, so what we have to be clear, because these are the things that people will fall on, and you will leave the people can say the nitty-gritty of it all. Alex Cummings, we always want to look at TPP and what Alex Cummings did. He didn't do it alone. They had an agreement. There were 4 parties together when CPP started. It was a united opposition front, and that is how Darius Dillon won. Not just
and Ambassador Boakai had the same opportunity. The 4 of them
which
were
is true.
there.
Which is true, but there are things also
that he was not able to hold them together. And
we can also look at the fact that Liberty Party today is also not together, because Alex Cummings also probably did not help to keep them together.
Oh, you're gonna go on
probably? We can also look at the probability.
Now you're speculating. But let me finish. Let me finish, Lenny. I'll listen to you. Just give me a second.
Okay.
So the former vice president could not keep the CPP together. It disintegrated under his watch. We all know that. He even went as far as going to court to testify against one of his own CPP colleagues.
Yeah.
We all know that.
Yeah.
The former vice president could not manage his vice presidential pick. They almost lost Dillon. They almost lost Yomli Kanga. We all know that. The vice president was unable to hold Ure and Costa in his camp. Today now they're running rings around him. This is just in recent times. I'm saying to you here, I have never seen or heard this vice president take a position on anything. I don't know what he's capable of. I don't know what the man is able to do. I have friends who work with him, and I've asked them over and over. He would rather stay the middle ground and let the situation sort itself out. I don't think that's the kind of leader we need for this country. The kind of problems that this country is faced with, you need a very decisive, a strong-willed leader who is going to take a decision and move forward.
Thank you. Ben, are you not hearing us? Benjamin, are you not hearing us? Benjamin.
Talking about that, Dennis, I think Jeru has been requesting the link. He seems to be in the back.
Yeah,
Victor.
Ben, not hearing us. Can I go, please?
No. I want Gabriel to go.
Yes, and I've been waiting. I've been waiting in the back line here to answer this question, and hopefully maybe I can give.
Victor, please. Just for me to be clear, this 9 is all ANC. Jeru is not ANC.
Okay.
Yeah, I made that clear. And you are trying to bring in guests while the show is going on.
Okay.
Hopefully, I can give both sides something that can give them more strength in terms.
Yeah, just tell us why you're neutral.
Right. So here's why I'm neutral. I will start with Weah first, and I will, hopefully I can do this in under a minute on one side. The current administration is to say that government is a failure. It's an understatement. We are currently in a $2 billion debt. We're about to be $100 million interest servicing on that debt, right? We saw what happened to the mop-up situation. That money, $25 million, just evaporated with no accountability. We saw them struggling trying to get loan from the Eton deal and the Bowman deal as well, right? There's no accountability of governance, good governance. We've seen murders in our country and repeated budget shortfall that we continue to cover on the show on the Focus on Liberia on the marketplace, right? Every time they pass the budget, there's a shortfall, right? There's been negative trade balance since the government took over. I don't have to say that. Go to the central bank, you will see that. It's even existed under the previous government as well. Yep. 10 years in a row from what is on the website. And I'm sure if you go back 10 years, another 5 years, you will see that as well. In short, we are just literally managing checkbook in our country currently right now. Like literally just barely winging it and keeping on, right? So knowing that is the reason why I can't support this government, because I believe they have no reason to do any better than that. Let me go on the Boakai side for 1 minute, right? So contrary to what you guys believe, and this is why I like to read history and most importantly, the economic history of Liberia, contrary to what you guys believe about Mr. Boakai, and I agree, in our society, we venerate old people because with that respect is due to them. But when they do things, we need to hold them accountable, contrary to what our society believes, right? And they need to know that they're wrong when they do something wrong, right? There's the famous PL 480 loan when he was the manager of the LPMC, famous. That money just disappeared, 7.4 million unaccounted for. Why do you think he was let go from that? I will let that to rest with you guys. Fast forward 12 years as a VP. Y'all keep saying, oh, he was just a parked car in the yard. He wasn't doing anything. He oversaw the Senate that oversaw 66 bogus concessions out of 68. You, Dennis, you were able to send me one of those concessions. I read them. Another member of the United Party sent me one. I read it. You know why those concessions You know why those concessions were bogus? Because of common structure. You sign in an agreement with one entity that is registered in the United States that has a parent company, and you're just registering the subsidiary in Liberia. So the subsidiary in Liberia paying management fee to the parent company before you can even collect your royalty fee or even make taxes on that money.
Gabriel,
I will land. Let me land. Let me land real
that's the
quick.
direction. I want to throw something in there, right?
Right.
So you give the scenario of two rotten apples, right?
Right,
Because that's
right.
what you're doing now. You are
Right.
throwing both of them away. In this scenario, you cannot.
So
You have to pick one. So
let me say that
neutrality has, some say it's cowardice, some say it's voting for the other person, right?
No, that's
so tell me, if you are in Liberia and you have a voter registration card to vote, you are telling me you are going to stay home, you're not going to vote.
I'm not
and
going
even
to
if you
vote.
did that, there's still going to be a president.
Okay, and let me tell you why I won't vote, right? And I will stay neutral. As you ask your military friends what they will tell you, in the middle of a war, you do not change general. And that's the reason why I won't vote. Is like I think Anthony said that there's two bad people on the same side. Whether you replace one with another, it's not going to make any difference. You're already in the middle of a war. There's no need to go change general in the middle of a war. The new person coming in will have no strategy in terms of how to win that war. So you keep the general in there and let him do what he's supposed to do. And for me, I don't have no fish to fry, so I will stay home on that. Thank you.
Ben.
Yeah. So, you see, for me, the way how I see these both candidates, I use my science background to describe both of them. I see both of them to be two different types of viruses. I see CDC, I look at them as a virus, and I see the Boakai group as another virus. But I
thought one was bacteria and one is virus.
Yeah, no, I will use both of them because I want to be fair. Fair. So I will consider both of them out of
H1N1 and coronavirus.
But now, here's the thing. One of them is a terminal ill disease. You know, when our body get used to a particular disease, over time we build up immunity towards that disease. The Liberian people know these criminals that we have right now. They have built out defenses towards these guys. If you inject a new virus into the system, the body will start to find new immunization to take care of this.
I like that analogy, Ben.
Hold on, Anthony. Hold on.
Keep going, sir.
So if this is not clear, it can't be any clearer than that. So we can't look when you bring a new virus in, our body will start fighting people. I mean, these guys will start looking for food for themselves and their children. Continue already big us already. They're not going to big us again for the next 6 years. The only thing we want to do, they try hard and start planning how to remove these boys in the next time. But you bring the new guys are not going to remove themselves. They will be there and they're not going anywhere. I'm going to be with George Weah for now. For 2 weeks, call me a citizen. Not even 2 weeks. 4 days, I'll be a citizen. And the rest will be history.
So what I'm hearing that typical thing what we do say, oh, you know what? Let's just our own with God thing. Even if the person is doing the wrong thing. So we cannot compare the country, the state of the nation. We can't compare the state of the nation with virus.
Thank you.
We got people dying.
Jimmy, can you hold on?
Give me a chance, man. We got people dying. We got people not having justice. We have, taxpayer money just being spent on that shouldn't be spent the way it should be spent on personal gains instead of on things. Give me a chance. On spending on fixing schools and roads and in hospitals and things like that. And we say, you know what? Send people immune to all of this. Let just we are still there and then we are chaos. I'm not saying Boakai is the best though, but I'm just saying, I mean, like, even if they're lesser of the two evils, why would I even want to Weah?
So Ben, to put it another way, what is this? Helpless, the psychologist said derived helplessness. You were saying, okay, let me be with the devil I know, at least the other one.
Thank you.
Why is this?
Because, no, here's the reason. Even if you brought anybody in a country that is as perfect as anything, people will still be dying. People will still be hungry. People
That's a
will still.
different. That's a different.
The rate will be reduced. The rate will be reduced.
No.
If we have put Mr. Cummings there, people are going to die. But you know
Thank
what? Guess
you.
what? Just to use it for example, if Cummings is brown skin, but the rate will reduce. But guess what? The focus, the priorities will be different.
No,
they will be different.
Right now we have right
But
now.
we don't have that option right now, Child.
I'm not saying the best. I didn't say Cummings the best option because we're not going to. Because Cummings people don't take responsibility to say that he too is responsible for where he is right now.
Are we going to do this whole?
Are you serious?
Yeah, let the man land.
Of course, go ahead. No, go ahead.
We not allowed the election with the current poll. Yeah, just leave us alone, please. Never go back.
Hold on.
I know, right?
Let's stick to the
All right,
politics.
look. Let me tell you this. I prefer Weah. And it's simple. These boys will not change anything in our country. They're not going to change anything. And we all know that. But removing people who don't know anything to bring another set who don't know any jack, it will be starting from square zero, not even from point zero.
When you say they're not going to do anything, what does that mean?
So when I say they're not going to do anything, they're going to keep doing the mediocre projects that they are doing. That's all they're going to be doing because that's what they know. I mean, how to do best.
And so we set up for that.
I'd rather have them doing those small things now than bringing another new group in who will have their own ideology as to how to do things. And we start doing things all over.
How do you know that they're not going to do better?
Because they have a track record.
Look at you did the party first.
They have a track record. It's there. I don't know why you ignore that. It's there.
They have a track record.
Thank you.
Thank
Jimmy,
you, Ben.
where did Jimmy go?
Jimmy was, I think he
Go
just
look for the project.
Let me get going right now before I forget.
All right, go ahead. Jimmy.
And first and foremost, let me say.
All right, hold on.
Mr. Eastman time.
Let Jimmy go.
All right. Fine. So you changed the question, or is the same question?
Same question. Why are you supporting Weah now?
Okay, excellent. You know, every one of us come with a certain baggage, a certain orientation, and a certain professional approach to things, depending on your discipline. I'm getting people that calling me. That's what I'm trying to. People calling me. Okay, so we all come from a different orientation, and my orientation is one of engineering. So I don't look at things as bad. I assess the situation and I look at what needs to be built, what needs to be developed, what needs to be restored, what needs to be fixed, what needs to be enhanced, what needs to be replaced. That is how I look at it. Nothing is bad for me. It's just certain things need attention. Okay, so when I approach this situation, I look at the Boakai camp and I look at the Weah camp. And what I saw in the Boakai camp that I thought was fundamentally flawed is a discrimination of people. I saw them discriminate against Manos. Yes, I saw them discriminate against Congo people. I saw them all kinds of discrimination has been plagued with in the candidacy, and I think that is fundamentally wrong. Mind you, in the 2017 election, I got close to the Boakai camp at that time, trying to find out what he had to offer, and I could tell even then that a lot of people were uncomfortable with me being around. So I said, "Well, let me let them do their thing." Whereas
why were they uncomfortable?
I have no idea why they were uncomfortable. But you can tell when somebody's uncomfortable with you being around, and all of you come to help. All of you come to help. All you got to put hand together, but you can see they're a little bit.
Mr. Eastman, CDC people would do just the same thing.
No, and that's why I'm about to tell you about the CDC. It was because of Weah's election that I was encouraged to go back to Liberia after 20 years. I was there at the inauguration. I was very hopeful that things were going to change because he commanded the mandate of the people. He commanded support. When people support you like that, you can achieve a whole lot.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of hopes, and I saw him as a beacon of hope that who could change things because of the command he had of the people's love and support.
Who did you know in the Weah government that reached out to you? Because you're saying it like somebody knew you that reached out to you to come.
I don't want to call names.
So, but that's it, because that was a form of favor. Somebody knew you and you wanted to work with them, and so they reached out to you. So then your argument cannot be balanced.
No, it wasn't that. They weren't calling me for work. They weren't calling me for work. Nobody's. If anything, I would have worked in the Ellen government sincerely if I knew them from childhood.
Well,
Nobody was calling me for work.
Mr. Eastman, a question for you.
Let him land.
I listen to you. Oh, Gabriel, give me a break here, man. You
the man gotta land. You gotta land. Let him land his thoughts.
No, I was saying, ask the question. You will flow with it. Relax. We got this. Relax. Mr. Eastman, I've listened to you so many times on Point on Sunday, criticizing George Weah government for stealing, for killing, for all the bad things that our government should not do. So by you supporting him now, doesn't it seem that you support his actions?
But are you
by
not
supporting him?
Are we not forgetting all these people?
Give me chance.
Under the
Give me chance.
government?
No, I'm not talking about Boakai. Their focus is not Boakai. Their focus is Mr. Weah, because I watched Mr. Eastman. I know I've watched it for a long time, talking about bad governance and everything. So regardless of lesser or two evils, by you supporting Mr. Weah now, so everything you said in the past, it's all lie about him.
You haven't given me a chance to tell you. You haven't given me. Wait, you haven't given me a chance to tell you why I'm supporting them. You haven't even given me a chance.
No, I want you to explain why, but I also want you to answer my question on that.
What's the question?
I told you, Shabba, tell me. I told you, I've watched you so many times discussing about a bad governance period about Mr.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Weah. So now you're supporting. So how can we reconcile the two? So if you're supporting somebody who was a rogue and still a rogue, a murderer, and you're supporting that murderer, what does that say to you?
Well, first of all, I don't. Okay, first of all, let me categorically say.
I'm not saying.
I know what you're saying, but I want to categorically say I don't believe he's a murderer. All of that.
I take it back. I take it back.
Okay, first of all.
I take it back. For a bad leader, because he's proven to be a bad leader.
Again. I will begin again, because maybe you didn't hear what I said. My mindset when I come into something to find out what can be restored, what can be developed, what can be built, what can be enhanced or replaced. That's how I look at it. Yes, there are things that can be repaired or done better in this administration. Of course. And when we're talking about it, when we see certain things, first of all, we see the absence of experts, Liberian experts in Liberia. Why are our experts overseas? Why are we not making use of our own experts? I think nobody loves Liberia like Liberians. No Ghanaian, I don't care how much you pay him, will dedicate his life to Liberia as a Liberian would. So why are we not encouraging our experts? The second thing I see, which is very fundamental, why are we not growing human capacity? Why are we not building our youth to take over, to be functional tomorrow? When you're not doing that, what is going to happen to tomorrow? So when I see these things, I know these things need to be addressed. But why do I support the Weah campaign? I told you, Weah is more open-minded. He's more acceptable to other people. Okay, that is my impression. I told you. That is what I get. I'm not looking for a job, but I have associated with a couple of people in the government, and I see they're very, very open. Whereas the other side, they look like they fundamentally flawed because of their biases, the unnatural bias to people. All Liberians are supposed to be equal and fair. You can't be discriminating. You can't start with that premise and expect good results. Yeah. And I think that because of their premise, because of where they're starting, they will not get good results.
Thank you. Let's go to Anthony, and then we'll come to Glendy, because Glendy has some time constraint here. Anthony.
So before I go to what I want to say, let me begin by saying that I sorry for your losses too, Sis Blaney. I personally was out of Liberia for close to 29 years. The first time I returned back was to go bury my younger sister. And we are all victims of this deplorable healthcare system of Liberia. We are all victims of the failure of the Liberian government. Today, you will find young people in their early 20s, late 20s, early 30s cannot read and write. The country failed them. Those people will still be around for the next 50 years. That generation is a lost generation. I'm not proud to sit here and want to support President Weah. I campaigned vigorously against President Weah candidate in Grand Jide, the CDC, and we flogged the CDC incumbent in Grand Jide. I was very vocal on radio, on all the different platforms. I campaigned against CDC so many different times because of my stand against CDC. I am not beloved within my own county. I served the Grand Jide Association on a national level, served as a campaign, not campaign manager, but served as an election commissioner on a national level. So I was treading on a path that many detest in my community. I'm not a fan of George Weah. Will never be a fan of George Weah. But the truth must be told that in our society, the older person is never wrong. Regardless, they are never wrong. And in my tradition,
then why you argue with me sometimes?
In my tradition in Grand Jide, you can't question, not even the older man being wrong, but you can't question the decision of an older person. That is my tradition. And you know what I always say to them? Take away bylaw and constitution of the Grand Jide Association. Teach us the tradition. Let's run with the tradition. You cannot bring bylaw and constitution and allow me to sit here, understand what is right and wrong, see you doing it, and then be quiet. And for that, I created more enemies. So, unfortunately, we are where we are. Tavi, I can tell you for a fact, we are all in this thing here for a better Liberia. But what good would it be for this Liberia that we all yearn for? A country, I grew up in Africa, barely know Liberia. By God's grace, I will be in Africa watching the African Cup of Nations. Right? I feel that it's my home. But guess what? I was born in Liberia. I'm qualified to run for a seat in Africa Coast. Right? I have a Ivorian nationality. But I can tell you that in this light, look at Ivory Coast. The same rainfall in Liberia is the same exact rainfall in Liberia. The same sunshine is the same climate type, same everything. What is our excuse? What is our excuse? So
let's come to the point of why you are supporting Weah.
Yeah, so Joseph Numa Boakai, between 2006 to 2010, played a supervisory role on the disarmament of the child soldier, and they were supposed to be rehabilitated. Today, these Zokos we have today, we shouldn't have had it. Joseph Numa Boakai would have acted in the right direction. It started under his watch.
Hey man, don't go there.
And the proliferation.
Don't go there.
Documents. And the proliferation.
No, we are right there with all this. Don't go there. You can't talk about doing.
No, he said where it started. Let him land.
The proliferation.
You go around rabbit holes here. That job we are ready for you with all this. Don't go.
Leave it out.
Let me say this.
Let him answer the question, please.
Hey,
please let him answer the question.
There is something in public health called prevention is better than cure. That's the reason why public health is important. The American government invested billions of dollars for us to get vaccine because prevention is better than cure. They didn't want us to get COVID before we look for the cure. That's why we got vaccinated in this country. Right? JMB had the opportunity to exterminate this Zoko collaboration today.
I'm glad it took me. I don't know what was good. Like bring your horse. Just call let go your horse. Oh, and let you back.
Man, Liberia. He's in Liberia.
You gotta put the phone on do
But
not
people, y'all
disturb.
can't lie.
That's the time the calls will not come through.
At least he gone.
Glennie,
Yes.
Hello?
Glennie, I think you have some response. There's is it hard to sell Boakai?
Who? For me?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not.
Okay.
I say what I want to say. I say what my conviction is. Who buys it? That's on them. I'm a Liberian. I'm convicted by that. That's it. It's not a matter of it's not a competition for me because I'm so against a Weah presidency. So it makes it easier for me. Yeah. And I can tell people why I support boycott, and if they like it, fine. If they don't, it's in the end, it's about Liberia.
Right, because why I ask is because we are always, somebody told me, say, Liberians are always in a hurry to turn the page, even if they have not read the page they own.
Oh, we've read the Weah page. It's the
right.
page we
so
read.
Sometimes it's the matter of getting, the most packed meetings in even our diaspora organization is when we are about to get the current leadership out. So sometimes we gloss over other things because we are in a hurry to get somebody out.
I think that would be the flip side, though.
How does replacing Weah with Boakai change anything? And where is the record that you can point at to say Boakai is going to do better? Or are we just leaving it with hope?
So I think Boakai has a very difficult role to play at this point in time in becoming president, because we've come from Ellen Johnson presidency, we've come from Weah presidency, and it is my hope and expectation that based on the records from George Weah and Ellen Johnson, and the fact that he worked in that government, that he will now want to do the same old, and there will have to be difference. And some of the things he has said publicly also lets me to know that it's going to be different during his regime from the Weah time. When you say people want to overlook stuff, I think I will look at some of the neutralists, some of the people that neutralists now supporting Weah. I think they're overlooking. I think that will work fine on their side because they're overlooking some of the worst things that have been done in this government and saying, we're just going to run past that. We'll just let him stay in there for another 6 years. So clearly they're not considering the things that he's done that's evil. I can only hope that based on the people that's currently aligning themselves with Joe Boakai, some of the people, not all of them, and the things that they've been saying and what they've seen, that their rule will be different and that they will do better for the Liberian people. That's all I can hope.
Dennis, can I come
in? Somebody agree with you? I said, Dennis, your parable fits those supporting Weah and playing neutral.
Yeah.
Let me just say this real quickly, right?
Before you come in, let me announce that to join the debate tonight, please call the number on the screen, 605-313-6004. The code is 791-403#.
And I'm sorry I have to get off because I have a church program. So
okay, well, I was actually gonna.
No, I'm not preaching. All right,
now we say you're bringing the axe for you.
Absolutely.
That's okay. I'm a cutting umbrella. I will meet you outside.
You say you're bringing the axe for you. Don't run away.
My Scorpion sister. But listen, I was going to say, look, when I said it is unfortunate that we're faced with the two choices we're faced with. Look, there is practically nothing that Weah is doing that didn't happen during the vice president's tenure as vice president. The same killings of Liberians happened. We all know that. Harry Greaves, we can name them. Corruption, was all over the place. No cow was driven bankrupt. I am saying all of these things not because I support Weah or I don't like Boakai, but I'm being very realistic.
Yeah.
I believe that if Ellis Common had been given a chance, I would feel better today for Liberia going forward. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. Now, I am telling you that I know you have said, and Luscious Store said something. Of course, that some of the CPP people have left now to go and support the UP, which is within their right to do. Which is within their right to do. But I know at the time the negotiations were ongoing before the endorsement. I don't believe this. I'm not sure if it happened, but if it did, that's fine. I don't have to know everything. But I know during the negotiation, the CDC was more amenable to what we were putting forth, and based on that, we had to endorse it. Now, Jimmy has said some of this here, and I will add on that. My interactions with some of our colleagues in both sides tell me the Weah people, it's easier to talk to some of the Weah people, and I think they're willing to change. There is a self-righteousness about the UP people. They can't do anything wrong, and if you tell them they're doing wrong, then you become unpatriotic. You become
Victor, you said the Weah people are willing to change. We've gone 6 years. Weah has not reshuffled.
Some of the people who are coming in
to any form of change.
Yes, but I keep telling you, Dennis, the collaboration is not based on the past 5 years. It's based on the potential going forward.
And if I borrow from Mr. Cummings, previous performance?
Past performance is a prediction of future behavior.
Right. So
outcome.
If they have done nothing to 6 years, you are saying you are building this on hope that by the grace of God, something going to happen because you've signed some form of collaboration with them?
Only because now we have an opportunity to impact what is going to be the policy. How?
But then allow me to add one little small thing, a very small thing. I want to give Boakai some recognition here. Boakai is.
Hold on, Jimmy. Let's Victor end his thought because this is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's Victor end his thought because.
So here's the how.
I thought you were finished.
But now he's hoping.
So that Jimmy will come in. I feel comfortable if I am driving the policy as opposed to entrusting the driver's seat to you, Dennis. And I'm saying to you, because of the collaboration right now, the CPP is going to be on the table when the CDC is making policies.
Remember now, the NPP was on the table.
Yeah, well, forget it. NPP. We're not the NPP, Dennis. The CPP is not the NPP.
But that's the history we're looking at.
That's the comparison. No, the NPP. I don't know what the NPP did, but I'm saying to you, we will persist. That's what I said to you.
I mean, you're acting like, and I hope I don't get it.
Election, those are all election.
People chasing behind 1% support.
Right. No. What I'm saying here is
election promises.
What Victor is saying is, you know how a woman going to a relationship, the man have left 3 women, but then you think you're going to make the difference. So you're seeing the other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, in my town, they say the place you carry your daughter to get married. Look at the dog that's coming from there.
Mm-hmm.
When you dry the bunny, you still want your daughter to get married there? You see the Alex Tyler party, the NPP, you see how they were treated, right? Even the
Let me ask you this. What were the preconditions for NPP collaborating with CDC? What did they request of the CDC? Nothing.
Yep.
Absolutely nothing. All the Alex Tyler, all these people, they just came on board. What was the basis of the collaboration with the CDC? Nothing.
Nothing intentional. Yeah. You're right.
That's good. That's a good point.
You are very intentional and lay out things.
Yeah. So let me. I want to add something. If Victor finished now,
I'm done. Jimmy.
You see, Boakai brings to the table experience. Okay, years of experience, not just now experience. He knows how things were done before correctly. He knows when things were operating smoothly. He brings all that to the table. So that is his positive point. The problem with it is he is very advanced in age today, and allegedly he's ailing. It is said that he will need to vacate the presidency for some time and leave that in the charge of somebody else. That is one of the scary things about that, because I don't know what I will be getting should he leave. You see, had he been 10 years, 15 years younger, the Boakai of before, that would have been a whole different matter. But today, at an advanced age and ailing, who is going to take charge when he's not there? And so I'll be rolling the dice. That is one of the other reasons why I'm concerned. And that's why I would rather a Weah administration.
Thank you. Let me hear from Ben, and then we bring in our callers. Hold on.
You should change Telvina to Boakai supporter. Please change Telvina to Boakai supporter.
No. I know better. I know better.
I want to bring in the callers now, so let Ben come in quickly.
Yeah. So those are my friends who are on the side or in the middle. I have no problem with them. But I have a little problem with people who are going to the unity. Who are going to the unity party, and here's the reason: if you believe in institutions, it's not that you agree with everything that the institution says. But the problem here is that I always tell people, when you are going to Boakai or whoever you are going to, I prefer you going to an individual. But when you say I'm a group of people from the ANC or from the CPP goes and say we are going to give our vote to Mr. Boakai as members of the CPP, I think that will hurt us tomorrow, because tomorrow you will be a part of another organization. The problem here is that what happens if this call went the other way? Let's say if the executive committee had said that we were going to Unity Party and other people had walked away and then went to the CDC, what would you have said to those people? So, I've seen people are making these kind of decisions that tomorrow will come back to them and that will actually hurt them, because tomorrow, when you're ready to speak about institutions, people will definitely tell you that you don't buy by institution. I will support Mr. Weah. Mr. Weah is going to win. Unipart are going to get in the streets 2 days, cause noise, and the next week it will be business as usual. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's take a short 30-second break, and we bring in our callers.
God gave us this country.
God give us this country. We are calling on all Liberians. At this time now, we're going to open the phone lines. Let me get our first caller here, Mr. Elvis Morris.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. John. Thanks for not putting me in the bad news that I was on that fell up earlier. Hello to the panelists. I think this is a great discussion. I want this to be a case in point for the Unity Party people to see the damage that they've done with their social media posting, their arrogance, their own earned audacity that they've had through this election period. The reality is, everybody who was not voting for Unity Party before, who was now already a UPist, or somebody who was supporting Boakai in the first round, the majority of the opposition people are coming up for President Weah. And I want to apologize. I want to, extend my sympathy to Mrs. Grundy for the loss of her father and other family members. But the reality, as I stated in the comment section, JFK got a new, acronym, that meant just for killing. That didn't happen on George Weah time. It was on the Ellen time, when our healthcare system was a mess, educational system was a mess. People were dying from, lack of beds. People were dying from preventable, illnesses. This has been something that's been plaguing our nation. So this is not a George Weah, only problem. Yes, you say, well, he's there to fix it. But yes, you're asking him to fix it with less resources than the previous government, with less expertise than the previous government, with less international aid than the previous government. So it's an uphill battle. Has he met that task? No, he still has room to improve. Like Mr. Manga said, that's why for some of us who support him, we hope he will bring more competent and have more of a bigger tent in his government this next term if he wins. So, I feel sorry for people who lost loved ones under this president, but it's been happening, and more than likely will happen again in the next administration, whether it's Weah, or not. And finally, let me say this. I want to applaud everybody who's speaking the right side, like the Star Wars, they said, come to the dark side, you come into the right side. So everybody who's coming from the ANC and coming to the CDC, you pick the right side. Not because President Weah is the best thing since sliced bread, but because if you just oppose him to Joseph Boakai and the baggage that Joseph Boakai brings for the people he surrounds himself with, President Weah, most people will decide to hold their nose, get it over with, and even pray that you have a better, second term than you had in his first term. And hopefully you can leave a better legacy than you had in the first term. But thank you for the show, and I think we got maybe 80 or 90% of the people on the platform today supporting President Weah as opposed to JMB. Except for Telvina, who hasn't taken her position, but we know she's a JMB supporter.
Thank you.
But thank you, Mr. Brown.
Your time finished.
I told you.
Kalabo. Go ahead, Mr. Gonglo, you are live.
Okay. Dennis, thank you. Great show. I'm unfortunately Benny's left because I really wanted to take a fight to her. But I'm sure she's gonna watch the show here. I want to make a few points. First, to begin with, the exchange between Gabriel and Glendy. And Glendy, I think Glendy was a little bit intellectually dishonest when she tried to argue that Cummings' leadership was different from Boakai's leadership. The condition was not the same. The condition that Cummings chaired the CPP and made the CPP a successful organization is the same condition that Boakai inherited, and Boakai allowed the CPP to collapse. The CPP died under Boakai's leadership, and Boakai supporters must take that responsibility. And I want to do that. But the unfortunate thing is, as soon as we begin to support Boakai, then they begin to discount other view that it's not important or they don't know the truth. They are the only one who know the truth. That's the unfortunate thing about the UPs and the Boakai followers. So I think that's enough on that. The other point I want to make is most of the supporters of Boakai basic facts. Some of the problems they think that we actually solve, they insist here. These are problems that have been existing in Liberia for years. Take for example, the road to the South was like that on a Tonman, was like that on a door, was like that on a tower. Okay? Was like that for 12 years. Under Ellen Johnson study, billions of dollars went to Liberia. They never solved that problem. Now they expect we are in the midst of COVID-19. We are administration was hit by COVID-19. Okay? And with the global pandemic, the supply chain network, the ship was not moving. Prices started to skyrocket around the world because of supply chain challenges around the world. And in fact, Liberia is basically an import-oriented market. So we kind of suffer most of those price high global supply chain challenges compared to all African countries. Now, they putting this blame on 6-year-old government when they cannot take the blame for being power for 12 years. Some of the problems are besetting we are administration today were problems created by Unity Party. Okay? And the third point I want to make is Boakai's dishonesty is actually at a height that should disqualify him for leadership. ANC people inside that after denying knowing Alexander coming on the oath, when he said off and he was taken here at the hospital, Boakai actually they call Cummings structure and ask you for money and gives you money. How can you be that dishonest?
Mr. Gonglo.
That level of dishonesty should disqualify you for ascending even to the highest office in the land.
Mr. Gonglo, you are quoting that information from Costa. It's unsubstantiated, right?
Well, Costa also put it in the public domain, and Boakai has not come up here to clarify. Not even his spokesman has come to debunk that story.
So you believe it?
I believe it.
Right. So you got to say with that caveat.
It's a dishonest man who take money from people and you think that it's true, you wish the story away.
Thank you. Thank you. Wherever there is Kalebo, there's also Aliyu. Aliyu, you are live.
Yeah. Kalebo will always be frustrated because
Aliyu are gonna call.
Brother will never come to respond to all this nonsense that goes around. Never. Not even the spokesman of the Unity Party. Now other surrogates and other supporters may respond to these things, but Boakai and his team will never respond to these crowds.
Then people will say Salem may consent.
Exactly.
We already got to say we agree. Now, what is true is that George Weah or Joseph Boakai, one of them are going to be president. Either way it turns out, people have been presidents of Liberia before. There is no entitlement that only one person can be president. But what we know, Dennis, is that the people who sat on social media and charged at Joseph Boakai in all kinds of ways, yet were unable to get 2%. The same people on social media, out of frustration, now pretending to be supporting George Weah only because they despise Joseph Boakai. We know their strength, we know their weight, and that's why they're being continuously ignored. And they get angry and they say, oh, egotistical, they speak the adjectives and the adverbs. You know, the point is we know their weight. That's why we ignore them.
Thank you.
At the level of the Unity Party, by the way. But let me just say this. When somebody come out here and say that Joseph Boakai disarmed people and he was the cause of this, but don't forget though, UNICEF assigned George Weah to disarm, and not only disarm Liberians. George Weah disarmed Liberians, and he was given a title of Goodwill Ambassador and all of that. Is George Weah also responsible for the quote-unquote civilization of the country? Or is it Joe Boakai who was a consultant? So all of these kinds of stuff, we just listen to them, we join the conversation, we laugh. Who they support doesn't make any difference because they have nothing to add to whoever they support anyway. So we don't care. But thank you for having me.
Thank you, and thank you. That sounds a little arrogant, but we will see after the film.
All right.
That's the arrogant
understatement.
All right. Mr. Livingstone, Flomo.
Yeah, I mean, great show, Dennis. I mean, for me, I have the only reason the ANC people want George Weah to win, they think in their mind in 2029, George Weah will not be on the ticket, Joseph Boakai will not be on the ticket, so they think Mr. Comey will have a free ride. And I can tell that they are lying to themselves, they keep fooling themselves. Because how will you have a radical attire suffering? And then he tells why he can't support the same people, the same government. Why have changed? Saying you have an entire suffering. They've only done I get killed, no justice. The 100 million plus jobs that came, no justice. Nobody has been from a state. He said George Weah is good. You know, for example, all the people that are supporting Mr. George Weah, I mean, I'm talking about the ANC now. They all came from the same CDC. ANC is just like a brother to CDC. So it's not surprised to all. And I just show how Mr. Comey...
That is false. That is false.
Mr. Comey is not a leader. He doesn't have no leadership ability. He can't stand. He can't make a decision. He said he is neutral. So he's trying to tell me Mr. Comey is a president for Liberia. And there's a major... crisis going on in the country. You will not make no decision. You say, I'm neutral. That's why they're trying to tell us. And for me, that's a complete flaw. You shouldn't even come close to the presidency, and you will not come close to it. Look, one of the things I have to say, Mr. Carter, my man, He's jumping through that chair. You want to jump on each time, tell you want to speak. You always want to call up, man. Relax, let you speak. The last thing I have to say about Mr. Comey is, look, Liberian people already know who Mr. Comey is. He doesn't have no leadership ability. And my question to the ANC folks,
wow,
who will you say Mr. Phil is the right person to lead that country? Can you show any evidence? You know, the same thing they said in 2017 with George Weah. I said, oh, George Weah was going to be the good person. Oh, the football going to be good on him because he plays football. What are we seeing on George Weah today? The Lone Star is a mess. They can't even qualify for the African Cup of Nations. That's the same thing I want to sell to the Liberian people. Mr. Comey work for Coca-Cola. So, I mean, he's the best person in Liberia, like that guy ever seen. So when he come there, he will change Liberia. No, we need to start that. That's completely false. There's no evidence to show that when Mr. Comey becomes president, you'll change Liberia. There's no evidence. So you should start saying that. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me bring up Mr. Gibson Jeru.
Yeah, thank you very much. Am I loud and clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. No, I really wanted to be on the show because the topic today was very good. First of all, I want to applaud Mr. Cummings for the decision he has taken. Cummings did something that Liberians will remember as the wisest man in these elections. Let me tell you why. Cummings did not want to reward bad behavior. Or Joseph Boakai, who did everything in his power, he and his supporters, they did everything in their power to not only to diminish the character of Mr. Cummings, but they did everything to demonize him, to cut him into size, to tell the Liberian people how he is a demon that really he is not. And so Cummings shall not, could not, and reward the bad behavior of Joseph Boakai. I'll tell you one more thing. Here is when Cummings was chairman of the CPP, peace reign. CPP was moving power. When Young King was chair of the CPP, peace reign. CPP was moving power. But what happened when Joseph Boakai took over? He destroyed CPP because this is why he destroyed CPP. He destroyed CPP because he knew that if they went to convention and they wanted to pick their leader, Cummings were very prepared because the people know the leadership skill of Cummings. And you're going to lose the senatorship of the CPP. Therefore, he destroyed CPP, so there will be no chance for them to go to primary. And Cummings was saying it. Cummings said nobody has monopoly over the leadership of the CPP. We should go to primary so we can elect our leader, our senate bearer, our vice senate bearer. But no, Joseph Boakai didn't want that. So they went to diminish, to make sure that the Cummings did not come close to anything called president, is to destroy the CPP. Can you imagine how selfish, how wickedly selfish, how black-hearted selfish Joseph Boakai is to destroy the CPP? That all of us are wishing for his liberty. He destroyed the CPP just because of one man, Cummings. And you people wanted for Cummings to reward this man with an endorsement. What Cummings have done?
I like this guy.
So Jeru.
Cummings will never
play that music.
So should Cummings also reward Weah for the bad governance during the past 6 years?
Cummings remain
Weah.
He remain neutral.
He's the head of the He's the head of the CPP, so remaining neutral is
community outside election.
We should be hailing Cummings for practicing democracy in ANC.
Cummings is not a dictator.
For practicing democracy in CPP.
Thank you.
I see. So you people want that for Cummings to twist the arms of everybody in ANC and CPP, and everybody will follow him. Is that what I want? This is democracy. If you guys want to go to George Weah, you are most welcome. But as a leader, I'm not going to endorse anybody because I don't think the two of them fit to be president. I've said it over and over. Endorsing one person for the other will diminish my character. You say Cummings is bad for that? Cummings is the right person.
Thank you.
Perfecto, monsieur. Perfecto. Très bien. Très bien.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gerald. Thank you. Let me bring on the next caller here. That's Tubman.
Brilliant.
Yeah, Dennis, thank you so much. I think it's a great show tonight. You see, that's very healthy for our democracy, you know, where people have different viewpoints and they can express it freely without no harassment or intimidation, and that's very good for our society today. My take here is, I know we're all passionate about what's going on back home. Every labyrinth, whether you're on Boakai side or you're on President Weah side, I think everybody wants the good for the country. That's what the argument is about. We all look here, we all want the betterment of Liberia. But the point here is how we get there. We all on one journey, at one endpoint, but different routes. Some people say, hey, let's take this route to get to that to point A. Other people say, no, we got the better route is the other route. So that's where we are. That's where we are today as Liberians. So I mean, everybody get good mind for the country. But my thing here is I will agree with Mr. Eastman. He stressed a very good point, and I hope that we all listening to that. He made mention of the old man age and his health at this point in time. It's very important. It's very, very important. I think he's a good man. He loved the country. He wanted the betterment of the country. Equally so, too, with President Weah. But at this point in time, what is against the old man here is his age, his health, and everything around him.
How old you think how old do you know Boakai is?
Yeah, well,
that's even questionable.
But I know, yeah, but then
hold on, guys. Go ahead,
that's a fair question, but yeah, that's a fair question. But I equally know that he's far older than the president today.
But you don't know his. But you don't know his age.
Now, yeah, but yeah, I'm not going to say his age on the air here, but I know he's older than the president. That's a fact. But my thing here is, his age and his health.
And what you know about his health? What you know about his health?
Well, the old man health discussion is out there, so I'm not going to say much about it.
Okay.
But my thing here is, my point here, Dennis, let me just land, and then I can get other colors changed.
Okay.
We are passionate for our country, and that's a good thing. And I think everybody express their view, and that's right. We should appreciate everybody, whether you're on the old man side or you're on President Weah side. Regard to Mr. Cummings, one thing I would say, Mr. Cummings should have taken a side. Mr. Cummings is not entitled to the presidency. And the way he behaves in his elections, he feels that he's entitled to this presidency. He feels that he's better than everybody else that was in the race. And that's an arrogant attitude. If you want to do a follow-up with this guy. If you want to endorse, you got to endorse. You got to take a side. You cannot say, "Oh no, I'm my party can take a side. I'm not going to." I mean, everybody else, the two people in the race at this time, they're not fit to lead the country. That's an arrogant attitude, and the Liberian people don't like that. And they're going to fight it.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me bring in Teddy Ted Lion Yakon.
Yes, thanks very much, Brother John, for taking this call. This is a very important show tonight. We know 2 to 3 days from now, we will be re-electing President George Manuel Weah. We are on the battlefront, on the political front line, as a global chairman for 3 major auxiliary groups that are fighting this fight. We want to make sure we re-elect President George Manuel Weah. President George Weah deserves the second term. As somebody said that Joseph Boakai is far older than President George Manuel Weah. It's true. He has served in government for 42 years. President Weah, he knows serving government for all those years. But President Weah has been the leader who been the vanguard that has educated many Liberians leaders, past leaders, and current present leaders, they end all Liberians. They have more than 2,000 to 3,000 scholarship programs. They end all Liberians. President Weah have set structural problems for the country: free education, health, everywhere he has touched in 5 years, despite COVID-19. But President Weah remains vigilant to solve the Liberian problem, so he deserves a second term. Boakai, because of it, Liberian people are comparing Boakai to President Weah. You cannot put Boakai and President Weah on the scale. President Weah don't deserve all these things. The world Liberian people, you don't need to applaud this man.
Thank you. Terry, before you drop the call, you say you are the chairman for 3 global auxiliaries.
Chairman for 3 recognized and 4 groups that record are fighting this fight. One in the country.
Yeah. Terry, my question is, don't you think that's I mean, if you alone can take 3 jobs, 3 chairmen, you don't think any other person is qualified to be chairman?
No, that's right. Another day.
Nobody.
All right.
Minister in the job.
Yeah, but no, I heard you say you are the chairman for 3 auxiliaries.
Yeah. I'm like the CEO for 3 groups.
You didn't say that. Now how corruption can start you don't want to
economic terms that who was the CEO, but we're talking about we are speaking politically. So I serve as global chairman.
Thank you. Thank you.
Global chairman for 3 major auxiliaries.
Thank you. Let me bring on the next caller here. Vicky Cox, is that the name or your name and where you calling from?
I'm impressed by the number of callers.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yeah, your name and where you calling from?
I'm Tawan Logan calling from Louisville, Kentucky.
Tawan Logan. Go ahead, sir.
Well, we had anyone?
Yes, following the program, I'm enjoying how the program going. Before I make my points, I just want to ask all the folks who opposition at that time on the panel. And if you say you're opposition, and you fight the current government for the past almost 6 years, it's still ill in the society you guys speak about. Why this time? What have changed? That's my question to Ben Jonah, to Anthony J, to Jimmy Houston, and to Mr. Victor Nangbe. What has changed this time? After you have fought the regime for almost 6 years. For the
what's his name? Is Boakai running away from the CPP? That has changed.
That's my question to him. I just wanted to be
thank you.
Dennis, what is his name?
Thank you. Thank you, Logan. Let me take the last 2 callers. That's Robert Smallwood. Caller, your name and where you calling from?
My name is Joshua Simway, calling from Des Moines, Iowa.
Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, great discussion and diverse view. That is good, but I think rewarding Weah with a second time because of a massive failure will send a wrong signal to future government. And many of those who supporting Weah re-election from the diaspora, they are not really living in Liberia. They don't know what goes on. We are every institution in Liberia. We are presidency for the first 6 years has broken down every institution in Liberia. I can tell you, if you give Weah another 6 years, it's equal to an extinction of our future generation. They will have no skill, no education. Just imagine the teacher training for the past 6 years. No teacher training goes on. Go there, TTR in Webo. Go care TTR, Takatan. Go there, TTR. No teacher training going on. Who could teach our future generation? So we know Boakai is not the best, but to send a message that if you perform poorly, we won't reward you is very important. ANC talking, I support that ANC talking about the document against President Weah. President Weah doesn't make decisions on his own. Almost every decision is made by Samuel Tue and Nathaniel McGill. Even the first economic program they have, meeting they have, when Mr. Kumi wrote a long suggestion how to improve our economy.
15 pointers.
Did we ever implement anything? We did not implement anything. How sure are they? When we take power, he cannot read comprehensively.
How sure are you your brother will do anything?
So
election promises. Don't fight it, man.
Our future is just been damaged by those that did not win. So since we did not win, we should punish the Liberian people. That's what some of our brothers do.
Thank you. The people vote for who they want to.
Thank you, Joshua.
That man a UP man.
But you can tell the man talking, sir.
It's not like Dylan. I thought it was Dylan calling in.
Let the last caller here, call your name and where you calling from. You will be our last caller.
Yeah, thank you. This is my first time. My name is Flomo Kazali. I'm calling from Minnesota.
You said Flomo Kazali?
Biggest fan. Yeah, Flomo Kazali from Minnesota.
Okay. Go ahead,
Can you
Flomo.
hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, great. I always monitor your show. I got my good friend always on your show, Saki Golafali. So he's my friend from high school back then.
Oh, great.
Well, let me say this.
We are the best.
Great. The
I know, right?
that I got on my mind that I want to express the issue of Honorable Alexander Cummings and the Ambassador Joseph Yuma Boakai and the rest of the other political candidate or presidential candidate. The issue of Alexander Cummings becoming neutral, I support it. The reason I support it is that it's just a common analysis, right? Just look at it from a broad point of view. Alexander Cummings was running against Joseph Boakai. He was running against George Weah and all the other presidential candidates. Why was he running against them? Because he has a different ideology of governance, and the other people too also have their own ideology of governing when it comes to Liberia. So the fact that why would you want to go and support another candidate? If you and myself ran against one another, that means we got two different ideas of governance. Mm-hmm. So if I'm supporting you now, why didn't I just forget about running and be a running mate? Let's look at it from a broad point. If Alexander Cummings is coming to support Joseph Boakai or any other candidate for this second round of the election, why did he go the first round? He was just supposed to join Joseph Boakai or George Weah. So people be arguing, history will recall him. He's going to be seen as this. He's not going to be seen as nothing. He's an astute man. I don't know him. Personally, I'll tell you, I don't support nobody in Liberia election. I personally believe that the leadership that Liberia needs is not the leadership right now. Mm-hmm. So I don't support nobody. Absolutely from all indications. So Joseph Alexander Cummings is right on his stand because why? His ideology of governance is different from that of Joseph Boakai. So nobody should blame him. He's right.
Thank you.
He's right. Okay. And John, in the future, if you having a show after the election, anything that has to do with the economy, anything that has to do with the financial sector, never hesitate. This is my number. Please invite me.
We'll reach out to you on the marketplace.
Assistant Vice President for Global Corporate Trust at the headquarters in St. Paul, Minnesota. So I'm an expert when it comes to that.
Thank you.
I'm not a joker. I personally refused jobs from President George Weah since 2020. I deny him. I said I don't want to.
Thank you.
I'm a low team member. When you ask your friend, what's his name, Taki Gola Fadi, will tell you, I'm Joe that picking. I got brain.
Okay.
We'll reach out to you, Mr. Brown.
We'll reach out to you.
But Mr. Carter, you have a guest.
All right. Thank you. These are the colors, and let me few comments here. Let me add. This one from Dave Jai says, "Show shame on you, the once opposition, and now we as apologists. What a betrayal." Bartholomew say you should be asking why did Cummings stand in the public space, putting himself on record, promising that he will support the opposition if he doesn't win. Okay, so those are the questions I want to ponder over. Time is fast spent, so I'm going to be taking your closing comments with your response to the callers. Ben, you were.
I like that second question because I remember Mr. Cummings saying that repeatedly, even on SKTV, in the thick of his case. Give me chance, man. Give me chance. In the thick of the case, when that case were against him, and he was, here there, he said, I tell you, it doesn't matter what I win or not, I'm going to support CPP. And Steve said, I was surprised when he somersaulted, just like, okay. Who was do we believe now?
You didn't know that.
You're aware.
Collaboration is neutral now. Collaboration.
Y'all can't be saying he's somersaulted because you know what?
No, he did not.
He's somersaulted. Your word is your bond. He did not put a condition. Even when when he said it repeatedly on SKTV, that's when he was being prosecuted. That's when you were called Mr. Fingerer or what all the different names for that document. That's the time he was running all around with court. And he said more than once, it doesn't matter what I win or not, I'm gonna support I'm gonna support the opposition. So for him to flip,
he didn't flip.
He flipped. Because a man should be a man of his word. And you know what happened, Mr. Cummings? No, he's not. He's not because he said he didn't have a condition. He knew
you don't have
at
to
the
give
time.
A condition.
He didn't. He had to. He had to give a condition because he gave me a condition now to say, you know what? Because this is this and this is this, I'm gonna stay neutral. At the time, he didn't give a condition, and he was asked more than 5 times. Not on SKTV though, on radio stations when he was under so much pressure. He said it over and over. He was going to support the opposition. So to flip again, I said it, flip.
So
I'm taking it back.
Tell me.
I said it.
Are you aware that Mr. Cummings is having problem with the election results? Are you aware of that?
What problem will you have? How? Let me ask you that question.
No, are you aware of that?
So let me ask you. Since the panel, wait now. Since the panel is full of ANC or TP people, let me ask. Okay. Wait. Why do you think Mr. Cummings didn't win the election? I've been tried twice.
What do you mean?
Let me ask you a question. Answer the question. Ask him a question.
I can tell you
with a question.
Listen. Anybody can challenge election. I'm so happy to challenge it. Anybody can challenge. I said right to do so. Mr. Cummings, you asked my question, right? Challenging a question doesn't mean election result doesn't mean anything. It means that you're not satisfied with the result. Doesn't mean whatever it is.
She can take her time.
Give me a chance, man. Well, UP story here. Do a little level. It's play to somebody else. If I support UP, I can't talk here. Who pay my rent? You know, give me a chance. So the point there is, he can challenge the results. Yes, but sometimes to Mr. Cummings and his fans need to take ownership. Could it be the outcome the result is because they didn't do enough election education that the people
we don't know that yet.
Know that there was. Let me just know the facts are there because guess what? There were look-alike things that you should have educated your voters about. You didn't do that. You were too busy fighting people like us and other people on social media who got no voting power. When you should have been in the villages, educating people about name-alike, look-alike, and all those different commonalities. So let's just say as it is.
So, I mean,
because were you asking a question at the end, or were you just making a
No. He asked me.
I asked you a simple question. Are you aware that Mr. Cummings is having problem with the election?
Right.
I would expect
no.
everybody to have a problem with election results.
Mr. Problem got no problem. He got no problem.
I expect everybody to have a problem with election results. I don't think that
He didn't challenge the result.
result was fair and transparent.
He has not challenged the result.
Yeah, not yet. But there are conditions. There are conditions that that he has.
There's a window to challenge the election result.
Hey, yeah, but then
But what making a big deal? Mr. Cummings is challenging the results. Why is there a big deal? What is there a breaking news?
But
do you get the context behind that? Do you get the context behind that?
Kelvin,
that's what I'm asking.
Kelvin, do you understand that Mr. Cummings undermines his own case if he were to take a side on by saying I'm going to take Weah?
She didn't think that deep.
It undermines his own case, and you know it. So why
when the Cummings supporters or the Cummings base or whoever takes some ownership around here, Panama what case? The owners
are you really saying that? Do you understand what that would have meant if he had taken side?
What would I mean? Help me understand because I'm too ignorant. Please help me
understand. Let me tell you, if Mr. Cummings have taken side and he went to any court, any judge don't throw us away the entire case because he has already undermined his own case.
Thank you. Simple logic. Simple as that. Thank you.
Ben, you don't have to explain that.
It is not adequate. It is not adequate. It's not sufficient justification. You can spin it all you want. You can spin it all you want.
I want to come in on your question. Telvina, all what you just said, they're all speculative. We don't know.
What is?
I'm going to give you the reason why I said they're all speculative.
What is speculative? That's the definition of speculative.
Hold on. Can you allow me to speak, please?
No, but I said, what is speculative? What is? You say everything that I said. So what is?
Yeah. So I'm gonna outline those things that are speculative.
Janice, come to your show, please. I want to wrap up your show.
So number one is you said the result demonstrate that we did not educate our voters. That's the reason why Mr. Cummings got less than 2%.
You did not adequately. I didn't say you did not. There's a distinction there. You did not.
I take that back. We did not
adequately educate your voters about name and like, look and like.
Let him finish now. Hey.
Let me say that we did not adequately, educate our voters. Right? That resulted to that. These are speculative talks. You don't know.
It is the fact.
No, it's not a fact.
The results show that.
Let him land. If you have another question, then you follow up. Let him land. If you have another question, then you follow up. Let him land.
No.
And if you have another one, you can follow up. Or else we will not leave from here. Or else we won't leave from here.
But hold on.
No, we don't do that. Let him land. We listen to you. Let him land.
All right. At this time,
you can do better than that. You can't hijack the show.
Yeah, you can do that. You ask your question, you say it, let him answer. When you have a follow-up question, you wait till he land, then you follow up with that question.
No. I don't have to ask questions. I don't know better than that.
Right? I don't think we're going to go anywhere. We have to do that. Here's the thing here, right? The whole circumstances of this election here, we don't know what really happened. You don't know. I don't know. These are all speculations.
No. We know because based on things that we see, we are logical people. We can make logical conclusion that some of the reasons the people were not fully educated, so they made bad choices. Because of name and like, look alike. It is fair because of the people, the voting population.
So the GDM party that appears on the tally sheet twice. Some of them went to Jeremiah Wapo. And some of the Jeremiah Wapo had GDM on some tally sheets, and some tally sheet has Jeremiah Wapo own party name. Did you see that one?
I'm talking about Cummings, the case of Cummings. We're not going to John Doe. We're sticking right here.
Dennis, can we take our closing comment, please? Let's
go around the room for closing. Time is fast spent.
Now you allow me to learn anyway.
You can wrap that up in your closing, and we
I'm not gonna waste my time on that one. I got plenty to say.
We got 2 minutes for closing. Let me start with Jimmy. Jimmy, can you bring your
So the two people are leaning toward Gongo. Hello. Okay, my man Gongo who I know is a man of integrity, and Cummings, who I know would have brought business to and industry to Liberia. They didn't make it out. What we are left with now, we are left with President Weah. We can give him a second chance, maybe second half, he would rather show his talent. Or we go with experienced Joseph Boakai, who has all the experience. But right now, you know, he tired a little bit because he has advanced and he has ailment. And when I choose between the two, I think I'll go with a younger fella. That's my choice.
And Jimmy, why is his diagnosis? If you say, you keep saying you have ailment.
I don't, you know, it is known, and I think okay, it is known. It's personal. It's been repeated that he does have a cardiological assistance within his chest. Okay, and it's a known fact. Okay. And I give him. We have to honor him like a statesman, and I don't believe people should say things against him in any way. But at this time, at this crucial hour, we need energy to restore Liberia the way it needs to be. And that is where I question.
Mr. Carter, you're closing.
Yes, Daniel, thank you. And I think this was a great debate, but I will say this quickly. I know thinking is very hard to do, and this is why we often just gravitate towards this herd mentality that the way everybody do that. We don't think individually. If you hold on to a belief, if you've been holding on to a belief, right, that you were given as a kid or as an adult, and new facts are presented to you, it is incumbent upon you as an adult or somebody who is logical to change your beliefs about those beliefs that you had, right? And the reason why I say that is because, yes, we've heard that this president hasn't been doing well, right? The CPP gave him a list of commitment that they want him to do. If he is saying that he's going to do that, they have the ability to, they have every reason to say, we're going to hold you to that commitment. They have every reason to say, we are going to change our mind about what we believed about you because you have made these commitments. Yes, I understand that is politics. I just wanted to say that before I made this closing statement. Now, contrary to this whole narrative of why people who are neutral are supporting the current administration, I think we've said this before. I've highlighted numerous occasions either on the show or on the Focus on the Marketplace show. Yes, this government is failing massively, but all of the responsibility that we're putting on this government began in the previous government, and we can highlight them. Matter of fact, the previous government had a better of a chance to transform Liberia than what we currently have. They had massive quantum of FDI flow into that country, opportunities upon opportunity. We squander know-how, and we are here today. These guys have only been in there for 5 years. I'm not making any justification for that, but to have both, unfortunately, at the table, and you expect us to pick a side, and we are saying that we're going to remain neutral, and you think, oh, because you're saying you're remaining neutral, that means you're supporting the opposition. Even if we were to do that, there's a justifiable reason, right? And I will say one last thing before I land about Mr. Cummings remaining neutral. Someone who came as an innocent man in a society, in a system that breaks everybody to the core. I don't care how good you are, it breaks you. He went into that government, they colluded against him innocently. And he kept saying, I'm innocent, I'm innocent. And the same people that colluded against him, you expect him, 40 years of working cooperation, not a tarnished reputation on that man. He went into our society. They brought charges against him. They colluded. I don't think he knew at the time who were behind it, but he eventually found out. That's why he remained neutral. And you expect him at this key moment, to now say, oh, you know what? Let me come support you because of the sake of the country.
Are you saying he's
That's
paying debt?
personal.
He's paying debt now?
No, it's not paying. It's not. Let me say this. It's not paying debt. It's removing yourself from that equation and understand the reality of people. Like, listen, I will say that quickly. It's one thing I call you my opponent, right? In that election, right? Because we have different ideology. But it's a different thing to want for me to go beyond that and go behind your personally and want to denigrate your reputation that you took years to build. That's personal, right?
Thank you.
And you got to draw a line before that. Being opponent is different. We have different way we want to advance the country. That is fine. You know, something happened to you, I can say, hey, you know what? I don't agree with this man on politics, but I don't, you know, he's not an enemy. But going to that level, that's personal. You know, and so that's the reason why I agree with him being neutral. I yield on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me go to Victor. And Victor, I want you to remember now, because you're talking about a pact the CPP has signed. So I want you to include in your closing, President Weah just fired his deputy foreign minister. So he's taking action. So don't you think he can start delivering on some of those promises instead of waiting?
Well,
for instance, he can make Charlene Bromskin just a minister today.
I mean, honestly, Dennis, I really believe, as much as I'm disappointed with this current government, but I just believe there is room there for accommodation and potential for growth to do better.
He can do it now. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like he's doing now, for instance. I believe
fired Famula. He can also hire one of the CPP person.
That's probably why
it doesn't necessarily have to be a CPP person, but a competent Liberian would be.
Exactly. It could be a UP person, it could be a CPP person, or a CPP.
I don't think that part you sign is for UP. But go ahead.
Let me get there and pull your leg.
But yes, I wish this president would have taken such action more frequently. You know, obviously there are some bad actors in this government that he should be, if not removing them, but reshuffling to, you know, to let other people try in other capacities.
You're saying the Christmas Eve. You still hoping for Christmas?
I think it will be better.
Santa Claus coming in the chimney.
Yeah, Santa is coming. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Victor. You're closing.
Yeah. So, but yes, I am really hopeful that we will all go beyond this election period. I read a lot on the social media. There's so much vitriol, you know, so much hate right now that is being spewed out there. And I just hope that what is not lost in all of this is the Republic of Liberia. There are a lot of people in Liberia who need help. I hope that whoever wins, there will be the capacity to embrace, including those who didn't vote for them. I am remaining neutral, as I indicated, because I want to be able to reach out after the elections. I want to be able, because unfortunately, in our Liberian political space now, it's difficult for people from opposing camp to have, you know, dialogue, you know, legitimate professional dialogue. I want us to be able to do that. And so I'm hoping, you know, my friends who are supporting the both camps, at the end of this, whoever wins, I want us to be able to come on the table, be able to talk to a Boakai person sitting across from a Weah person, and put the Republic of Liberia on the table so that we make progress. That is my hope. Do I believe President Weah is going to do so? I'm hoping so. Do I believe Ambassador Boakai is going to do that? I hope so. I hope so. But I am not. I have no qualms with the CPP's decision to endorse the current president, because I think it is the one they're more comfortable with. Now there is another segment of the CPP that has also endorsed the former vice president, and he's the one they're comfortable with. That is all well and good. It happened with Lucini Kamara and his group. It is happening all over the place. So it's not abnormal. It's not unusual. But I'm hoping that at the end of the day, we'll all come together as Liberians and build the country. That's my hope.
Thank you. Let me bring in Mr. Anthony Gay. Anthony Jefferson Togwasi, what is the difference between ABC and ANC executive committee that made him the standard bearer? If he's not following the same executive committee this time to endorse Weah, I think that's where he's going.
Here's the thing with our Liberian people, right? We are very good.
Be careful how you paint a broad brush.
Yeah, most of us Liberian.
Okay.
Let me play that here, bro. We want every one of us to be in the same boat. If somebody's bringing an idea, we tend to be too technical. But when the law are crafted and given, and that law applies to one of them, don't take the stand on that law. We do that all the time. I participate in so many different organizations here, Liberian-based organizations. And when it comes to drafting the bylaw and constitution, all the great ideas will be brought forward. Once that document is adopted and you decide to implement that document, you become the enemy number one. So, yeah, are we today? We all want this good Liberia, this prosperous Liberia, that Liberia that will, value every Liberian. We all want it. So the CPP was intentional, very intentional. That study assessment was done that no one political party can defeat George Weah because of his popularity, his celebrity status, and the way our people vote. So the formation of CPP was very, very intentional. And they came out with every structure that they wanted and everything. They all agreed. Had Boakai said, look, listen, given my stature in this country, given that my political party is the oldest and biggest opposition party in this country, I cannot take anything less than being the standing bearer of the party. Everybody would have agreed. The ALP that had the less number was given equal right as the unity party because they all came to the table to be zero. Let's start from scratch. Then in the middle of the game, you want to change the rule. You want to move the goalpost. The CPP was tested, like I said earlier, 2019. In 2020, we saw the results. Each one of them were given equal opportunity, 8 months term to run the CPP.
Yep, one more minute.
So with all of that, they decided to walk away from that they can do bad by themselves. And today, they are crying wolf because other people don't want to come and support them, or because Mr. Cummings said, I will support the opposition. Well, when Mr. Cummings said those things, guess what? Nobody factored that we were going to get less than 7% with the work we put in. So with this election, they told us that they had 97% of the tally sheet in their possession. We should be angry at them. Why did you accept the result? When you say you had 97% of the tally sheet in your possession, that Joseph Yuma Boakai has won this election. He has won the election. You had 97%. The tally sheet is close as what the NEC will report. That is the tally sheet we used in 2020 with DeLong. And we said, because of the tally sheet, we can project DeLong win this election. And what happened? NEC result commensurate with our tally sheet. DeLong came with a tally sheet, 97%, that says that Joseph Yuma Boakai won the election. They refused to challenge NEC for recount or challenge NEC for the results. They didn't do anything. So Ellis Cummings, who mustered the courage to challenge NEC, they want Ellis Cummings to join it. It does not work that way.
Thank you. On that note, let me bring in Telvina for your closing.
I think I closed several times. But anyway, comments on each one laughing. No, honestly, it was a good show.
This co-host is not impartial.
Huh?
No, don't mind him. I'll mute him when we continue.
No. I have no reason to hide my hand. If I support any party, trust me, I will be the loudest saying that, because I will support it with everything in me. But we have to respect the choice of people who decided that we're talking against Mr. Weah today, and then today, and support him tomorrow. We can argue all we want, but we appreciate your decision. Stand by it and live with the consequences. It's just sometimes when you see people where we all sat on platforms or made posts about, injustice and corruption, other thing, and then telling the world that this man is the devil in the room. He's the worst person. And then you come back and say, oh, no, he's no longer the devil. He's the cute, person. He's not a devil anymore. Then it makes people to not even trust you or even trust to even listen to you. Some people tend to wonder, what changed your decision, and can I trust your decision next time? When you say something, what changed from that bad person, the worst person that he was, to now a good person, and we say, oh, he will be better. How can you predict that he will be better? He's the same person that we all saw 6 years ago. The records are there, and he's still surrounded by the same people. Election promises, give me chance. Election promises don't mean anything. He may make good on his promises, but keep in mind, he got other people he promised to. Same way in America, these people make promises to, when they want us to vote for them, and they never keep them. So y'all be careful with the promises. Say, oh, he signed document. That Liberia, he signed document. But I hope y'all won't be surprised. After y'all vote for Weah, and Weah go back to even doing the worst.
Well, what Boakai is saying is also promises. They're all promising.
Oh, I have no doubt.
When you go back, that people are going to be fine after you
have But tell me, something. Tell me, even every time you tell yourself when you trying to run a race, you trying to accomplish something, you are telling yourself you have to be better. It's not so because you despise, you don't, but you have to get better. So when you hear people criticizing, it's because they want it to be better, not because they hate it.
Yeah. Thank you. On that note, I would say thank you very much.
I don't think she landed.
Let me tell you, on that note, it was a good show. It was a good debate. And it's okay to interrupt. We're not in a formal gathering here. We will interrupt when needed.
No, if that way we won't finish. We will not finish.
We also want to thank our viewers. Always focus on Liberia. This is where you need to be. Since 1847, this is by far the best in any Liberian internet or diaspora television, and you can take that to the bank. We now close with our song that says, "We are all Liberians." Have a good night and God bless you.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home.